Hello aqua friends, welcome to my channel. My name is Nicole and today I have a beautiful watercolor spring grass tutorial for you. This is a vibrant sun-kissed grass scene that has beautiful jewel tone colors in a very loose abstract style with bokeh lights. So my first step for making this painting is a wet on wet background. We are going to have a soft blurry background by wetting the paper first. Once your paper is very well saturated, we are going to lay down our grass colors. And for this painting, I have used Indian yellow, leaf green, sap green, permanent green, shadow green, and indigo. Fun fact for you, Indian yellow was made in India and was obtained from concentrated urine from cows that were fed on a diet of mango leaves. Interesting, yet disturbing. Okay, so I'm starting off, as you see, with the Indian yellow, putting down those lightest colors first. So I have Indian yellow, my leaf green, the more vibrant permanent green, and I'm sort of squinting when I'm looking at the reference photo and just taking into consideration the objects that I'm seeing and putting down these objects, not really thinking of them as a whole, but breaking down the dark areas and the light areas and seeing where I need to put these values. Okay, so once I have basically all the areas covered, I'm coming in with a very soft, actually this is a makeup brush, and I'm putting in my sun rays and lightening up that sun that's coming from the top of the page. Step 2 is timing, and it's all about watching and waiting for your paint to dry. Exciting, I know. So I'm sort of testing it by putting in these blades of grass, and obviously I've sped up the video, but you want to wait till your sheen of water on your paper starts to dry up, and then I'm coming in with my stamper in order to get the bokeh lights like in the reference photo. And I'm also adding in blades of grass while my paper is still a little bit wet. It is making these light areas with a wet brush. I'm wetting my brush and I'm also putting in some colors. As the paper dries, my brush strokes are more visible and they have harder edges, and you can see those blades of grass more. So everything is sort of done while the paper is drying. The third level is adding in these grass details and then lifting those bokeh lights. Once I'm happy with the amount of grass blades that I have added and the amount of bokeh lights that I'm lifting, there are, as you can tell from the reference photo, a lot of bokeh lights. So I do want to lift up some when the paper is completely dry as well. I want some with glazes and I want some that are lighter. It's nice to have some of the grass blades on top of your lights as well, so it gives it a more three-dimensional look. This is actually a really relaxing painting to do. You can't really mess it up. It's just putting in your blobs of color for the blurry background, making blades of grass, and using stamps to make circles. So it's not rocket science. It's pretty easy and it's so much fun to do. So once my paper has completely dried, I'm coming back in with a wet bokeh stamper, and I'm lifting up more of the circles, and I'm adding in a few more blades of grass until I'm happy with that foreground. Another thing I wanted to do was up the saturation of this warm light shining, okay? So getting in more of my Indian yellow and even coloring in some of my circles with that warm glaze. And with a very wet sponge, I'm lifting up, and I'm also using a piece of paper towel to lift even more pigment up off of those circles. Because as you can see in the reference photo, there are some that are very faint, but there are some that are very, very light in color. Now for the final little touches, there are some little tiny dewdrops on top of the blades of grass that I'm adding in with some P.H. Martin's Bleed Proof White. So just these final little touches. I'm also putting a glaze of this watery white mixture on some of my bokeh circles. This is pretty much the final little touches and stage of the painting process. I have my values established, my lights, my darks. I have the details and adding in these small little final highlights. I got inspired to make this grassy scene because it's just been so pretty here in Pittsburgh this past week, and the grass is really getting nice and green, and it had me inspired. I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. Thank you so much for watching as usual. I just absolutely love you guys, and thank you for all your comments and your support. Have a great day. See you next week.